don't know why, but I feel pretty Tony Stark-like right now. I don't know, actually. I'm gonna try something. Okay. Somehow I feel even more Tony Stark-like right now. I feel even more Tony Stark-like. This is something special. This has never happened before. It's like I'm hiding something. Like I have a secret identity, even though Tony doesn't have a secret identity. He's literally Tony. So we're gonna continue in this suit because, well, I spent a lot of money on it, probably too much, and I need to get the most use out of it. But seriously, this film overall, I do think is actually maybe the best Spider-Man film ever. If not, it's almost a close second to Spider-Man 2. The original one with the Tobey Maguire. Now, Tom Holland, I think himself is actually the best incarnation of Spider-Man ever. Now, Tobey Maguire had great aspects of Peter Parker, and Garfield had great bits of Spider-Man, but I think he himself as Mr. Holland, Mr. Netherlands, may be the best Spider-Man, a combination, a culmination, a mixture of the two. Actually, I've been seeing this theory go around that maybe Garfield or Maguire could be Uncle Ben in this universe, and that would be freaking ridiculous. I mean, the internet would actually explode. Like, there would be problems with the internet because of this. But as I said, Tom Holland as Spider-Man was insane, and equally as good, if not better potentially, was Michael Keaton as the Vulture. Now, there was a switch in this film in the third act that I did not see coming. And to be honest, I see everything coming, and I didn't see it. I'm basically Heimdall of the real world. Of Midgard, I am Heimdall. I've had my problem, I guess. I've had my Thor the Dark World moment where I didn't see everything. But I literally see everything. I fucked up. I'm sorry, but that third act just, like, completely came out of the spanners for me. I mean, it threw a spanner in the works. I was like shocked for the next 25 minutes of the film because of what just happened. He's probably the third best villain in the MCU after Loki and the Red Skull, so you know what? They did a very good job picking him out for this, and I think he fit the role perfectly, as well as his chemistry with Tom Holland as Spider-Man. Like, it just worked so well. They had a very good rapport with each other, and I thought it was just very exciting to watch the two of them in the scene. Robert Downey Jr. was super efficient with his screen time, and Happy Hogan, Jon Favreau himself, was very well utilized throughout the entire film. It was like just spec thus connecting the whole universe together, but as well as keeping it its own individual thing. Like, it felt like a very confined story with also just flashes of important future MCU nods to it. The school side of the film was fine, but to be honest, it was slightly lacking. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, it was probably the least fun part of the film with the school scenes. Ned was cool. Ned was probably the most fleshed out character because he is his best friend in the film, but Zendaya in this film just wasn't too good. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna spoil it. I'm not gonna say anything. Actually, she was not good, okay? I'm sorry, you'll watch the film and you'll see the end and you'll just be like, I'll be like, fuck off. I'll be like, fuck off? Fuck off. No thank you. No thank you. Not for me. Not for me. I don't think it's just the character. I think she was trying too hard to do nothing, and it sort of just felt weird, like she was trying too hard to literally do nothing in the film. You'll understand when you see it, so maybe come back and argue once you've seen the film. Liz Allen was fine in the film. She at least has some depth to her, so it worked fine as his first love interest, I guess. But to be honest, there just wasn't enough fleshing out of the other characters, and they had such a great young cast, and they just weren't fully utilized in this film. At least there's stuff for the future there, but they need to do more with it in the future films. The story flowed well, the editing was good as a whole. The directing was almost perfect up till one scene. Now, this one scene, I think you might see it in the film as well. It's supposed to be a very serious scene in the third act where the mood of the story just slightly changes a little bit and becomes more personal. And for some reason, my theater just exploded in laughter when they saw this scene occurring. And I was just like, this is supposed to be a very dead serious scene, and people are laughing in it. So I think maybe they edited it slightly off, or they directed it wrongly. I don't know what was wrong with the scene, because it doesn't seem like people should have been laughing during it, but people did. Maybe I was missing something, but I don't think I was. That sounds like I'm big-headed. Maybe I was. I doubt it. I'm generally right. Wow, I'm a prick. There was actually a lot of comedy in this film, and it didn't feel particularly jarring. I mean, I guess it did feel jarring in that one scene where I just said it didn't fit. I mean, I don't know whether that was comedy or whether people were just laughing for the sake of laughing, but maybe that one scene was the only one. But other than that, the comedy in the film flowed with it. It wasn't like it was out of place or misplaced. There were a lot of side villains in the film as well, and to be honest, some of them were throwaway, especially how iconic some of the characters are, because Spider-Man has a ridiculous wealth of good villains overall. Like, he is one of the finest characters for villains, apart from Batman probably. Batman and Spider-Man probably have like the best villain arsenal out of like most comic book characters. So I guess it's not a huge problem because they can just pluck another one out of canon, but it just seems like they threw away some pretty big, hard-hitting villains in this one film. I suppose this situation is different to Wonder Woman because she doesn't have a huge wealth and plethora of decent villains, and, well, they chucked away Ares in their first film, so DC, you're sort of screwed up with that one. I'm telling you, you're really screwed up. I'm not saying Wonder Woman was bad, by the way. It just wasn't as good as this Spider-Man film, and, well, I'll say it's the best DCU film yet, but, you know, that's not really saying much, to be honest. So, actually, this is a Spider-Man review. I didn't even do a Wonder Woman review. I probably should have done one, but hey, I'm a lazy prick, and I didn't do it. Sue me, please. The CGI in the film was great during the fight scenes, and the fight scenes themselves were very well choreographed, but I will say that when Peter Parker, the Spider-Man, what just happened to my voice? I just did some weird I don't even know what type of accent that was, but when he was swinging through New York, it just seemed too fake. Like, it seemed too computer graphic-y. It seemed like you were in a video game. I mean, it's fine. If that's what you like, then some people will actually appreciate that's why it looked like. But for me, it just seemed too fake. And it may have been the saturation of the costume. Maybe it was too bright and it just seemed too out of place. But for me, it just seemed too sped up, the scenes, especially when he was going through the town, jumping on houses and buildings. I like the aesthetic of the web shooters overall and all the usefulness of his suit as a whole, but for me, they sort of mucked up the CGI when he was just flowing through the city. And that's one of the best bits of Spider-Man for me, as in visually, that's one of the finest things there is. So it was a bit annoying seeing that, but hey, you can't have everything, but it was still good. I think I may have said before, this film both was on a large scale and a small scale, and it did have serious consequences for the character as a whole. So if you're looking for like a very grounded film, this is much more grounded than basically all the other MCU films apart from Ant-Man. This is sort of that neighborhood level hero that they're going for with Spider-Man right now, and I think they're right to. There are some huge Easter eggs for future MCU films. Like when Tony just took him somewhere, I was like, he's gonna do this, he's gonna do this, and then he did it right at the end, and I was like, I knew it. I was like, it's too soon for it. I'm not gonna spoil it. There are no spoilers in this review, but he did it, and I think it's too soon, but they'll use it in Infinity War for sure. That's gonna be pretty damn epic. That's gonna be freaking ridiculous seeing him in doing stuff. Not gonna spoil it. Not gonna spoil it. Not gonna spoil it. So what would I give this film out of 10? I'm thinking I'm gonna give it an enthralling 8 out of 10. That is an 8. That's an 8 right there. Because it was fun, it was interesting, but there were some problems with it. Anyway guys, if you did enjoy this video, please do like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel down there. If you didn't, then Spider-Man himself is gonna come after you, and you don't want that. No, you don't. So just subscribe anyway. Do join the clan on the path to 10,000 subscribers. Now I've been NarendraTheComic wearing a suit. You have been great, and I'll see you next time. Skadoosh.